Do you have chicken leftovers in your fridge? Do you? So I'm going to teach you how to do a very good recipe which is unbelievably tasty, it's very easy to do, and most of all, it's cheap. And if you don't know me, my name is Miguel Teles, this is Tuga Kitchen, and come on, let's cook. So the first thing we are going to do is to dissolve our yeast in a little bit of warm water. I'm using baker yeast, but you can use dry yeast, it's all the same, doesn't make a difference. Now for the ingredients, I'm going to use a Portuguese sausage called Salpicão. And this is very difficult for me to describe because it's like Italian pepperoni, you know? It has a flavor of its own. If you cannot find this kind of sausage, this kind of products, what you can do is use a Spanish sausage, an Italian sausage, something that you like and that you can find easily. I'm going to slice it into pieces, not so small, but well, you do whatever you prefer. Next, let's take a piece of bacon and, well, you can find bacon anywhere in the world, so there's no problem here. Take the skin off. If your bacon has a little bit of bone, don't forget to take it off also. And just like the salpicão, dice it into medium pieces. Okay, now let's crack our eggs. And you shouldn't do as I'm showing you here, because here's the thing, if you crack the eggs directly into the large bowl, what happens is that if one of the eggs is not good, then you are going to lose all of them. So what you should do is crack the eggs into a small bowl and then join them together into the large bowl. That way you are always safe. Let's season our eggs. And finally, let's take a little bit of oregano. I really don't know how to say this in English, but I'm going to let it in text here somewhere. Now, this is not part of the traditional Portuguese recipe, but I like to add some herbs because, well, I think it gives it a little bit of an extra flavor. Let's take our mixer, add the flour to the bowl, the yeast, and the eggs. Turn it on the slowest setting because you don't want flour and eggs all over your kitchen, do you? And if you want to know the ingredients and the quantities, they are below in the video description. Okay, now that all of the ingredients are well integrated, let's change to our hook, add the olive oil and the melted butter. Again, in the slowest speed because, well, this time you don't want butter all over your kitchen. And when your butter starts to integrate with the flour, then you can put on a higher speed. And let it stay there for about 5 to 10 minutes, it's going to depend on your mix. When your dough starts to decoupling from the bowl, it means it's ready. Take it out of the mixer, pour a little bit of flour over the dough, cover it, and let it rest until it doubles the size. It can take 1 hour, half an hour, 2 hours, I don't know, it's going to depend on your room temperature. Now just look at this beauty. Give it a punch, well, and you don't really have to give it a punch, but I don't know, I think it works on the camera. The idea is just to let the gases out of the dough. Let's pour some flour over our workspace, and let's take our dough from the bowl into our workspace. Now, with help of a rolling pin, let's make it a little bit of a rectangular shape. And divide it into 3 parts. And this is just a visual aid, you know, it's just so we can see where we need to put our filling. Let's start by adding our chicken. Now, if your chicken or your meat or whatever you are using, if it has some kind of sauce, you should pour it over the dough alongside with the meat, because it's going to help a lot, it's going to make it not dry. Unfortunately, my chicken didn't have sauce, but well, it's not the ideal situation, but it also works. Next, let's add the salpicão and bacon. And finally, a little bit of cheese. And you can do whatever cheese you like. You can use, I don't know, French cheese, Greek cheese, American cheese, whatever you like, whatever you prefer. Gently cover with one part of the dough and repeat this whole process again in this upper part. And this is very important, don't forget to fill it on the side, because if you don't put some filling on the side, it's going to be dough over dough and it's going to be very dry, so don't forget this part. Cover it gently. And then let's take an oven tray, pour a little bit of olive oil over it and, well, remember, it should be Portuguese olive oil. And if you don't have Portuguese olive oil, well, you can use butter. It also works. And remember to do the sides so that the dough doesn't stick to it. Gently take your dough into the tray, cover it and let it rest for about 20 minutes. Meanwhile, let's crack one egg, beat it well, and when your dough is rested, let's brush it over it. And now for the final touch, you can add some herbs. Take it to the oven that should be preheated in 220 degrees Celsius and let it cook for about 30 to 45 minutes. You should be careful not to overcook, otherwise it's going to be very dry. Now just look at this beauty, just look at this. I'm going to open it and show you inside. Look at the cheese melting, look at this, all of this feeling. This is so good. And like I told you in the beginning, you can do this recipe with any kind of ingredients that you like. So I hope you like this recipe. Please check my other videos in the channel, and my name is Miguel Teles, this is Suga Kitchen, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.